Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Vivek Ramaswamy, and I want to talk about how Vivek Ramaswamy clearly called out in the third Republican U.S. presidential debate. Uh, Man, he was on fire, and he called out something I think that was very upsetting to the establishment, and almost like a prophecy. He said, "You guys need to admit." He was saying to the Democrat Party, "You need to admit President Joseph Biden is not the real candidate, not the real candidate, not the real candidate, and you need to trot out whoever your real candidate is, who you're working right now to establish on back channel, which is either going to be Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama, or someone else." This and what is interesting is we are man, we are getting there. Vivek Ramaswamy is actually getting some real traction. Just like every just like we saw in 2022, in 2020, there's very real, very important traction being established on the social media sites. He is doing great on Reddit, great on Twitter, great on Facebook. Everywhere where there is great on Discord, right? Everywhere where there's actual smart people having conversations, Vivek is really moving forward. I don't know if he's doing great on Instagram. I'm not sure if there's real conversations that happen on Instagram, but it's pretty astounding, and I think that's very important, right? But what really was interesting was he was just throwing these incredibly hard. Um, I he was making sound predictions, right? And I think this is going to get. And I think Vivek Ramaswamy is about to get incredible pushback, right? Good example of this is I'm an evangelical Christian, right? So I go to church and read my Bible and pray, and my Christianity it's the number one force in my life, right? And among evangelical Christians who are engaged, right? And I think most evangelical Christians are engaged. You will find this basically when you actually start to build a strong relationship with Jesus Christ. Sometimes the devil will come right at you because it's what he hates the most, right? And I really feel like Vivek could be in trouble soon, like real trouble, in that I think he's very, very directly upset the RNC, upset the DNC, and the main and that means, right, and then every organization that those two organizations are connected with, which means for realsies, they are very upset with him, and, and every organization that they're connected to are going to be upset because he is out here just saying what's going to happen next. Very strong, accurate predictions, right? And I think the DNC is upset about this because I think what he was saying, and he's in it, right? He is talking to political analysts. He's talking to he is really in this. He is very much in the middle of this, and he has access to people who know. And I think he's saying, "Hey, I can tell you right now, there's a plan that's happening." And I do know he's right. Like, I know that the Democrats overall. So I listen to I listen to the New York Times and major liberal news sources, right? And the polls are coming back, and they are terrified. They are absolutely terrified because across the board, everybody's like, this is not working out. This is a sit and sign president. Like, I think a lot of people are like, this guy is not governing anything. He's waking up at 10 a.m. Walking downstairs and signing whatever his aides put in front of him. This is a Dianne Feinstein at the presidency level, right? And that's bad. That is very, very bad, right? And the American people are like, we just don't want any more of this. We don't want to be on the edge of World War III anymore. We don't want to be able to not buy eggs, cars, and houses, right? Like, this is enough, right? And the Democrats are like, well, we were able to trick people in 2020 that an 80-year-old president would be a good idea, but now that we've actually seen it, we can't trick people. We can't, they can't be looking at a cat and we say it's a dog. We have a lot of power. We don't have that much power, right? And they can't spin anymore. They've tried, oh my gosh, they've tried so hard to spin that President Joseph Biden's been able to accomplish even one thing, which he hasn't. Right? It's literally just a pile of broken lies, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna get rid of your college loans. Did that happen? No. Came back and they said no, that's not even constitutional. It's been a mess, right? But I think Vivek is about to get into very real trouble. I think they're going to set the mainstream media on him. He's going to be rowing upstream the whole way now, because I think he has really made the RNC and the DNC furious, and that's going to trigger a whole bunch of boot groups that they are aligned with, and it is a mess. It is a hot mess, right? Like, very, very powerful. The other thing is, I do think he's got an inside track there, and it totally makes sense, right? Because the reality is, this is not even remotely doable, right? Like, you can spin and you can spin and you can spin, but at this point, they're looking at the polls. The polls are coming back, and they're covering it in the New York Times. They're like, hey, his numbers are trash. He's going to get destroyed if he runs against Donald Trump, and we're going to lose, right? And this country is going right back to a Trump presidency. And New York Times openly covering it, just saying, "Oh my gosh, what's going on, man? We gotta do something about this." And there's a lot of people openly talking now that there's back channels happening, and that everybody's like, yeah, they're going to have to replace him. So how does he do that? Does he step down? Does something else happen? Very, very and I think Vivek called it. He's like, he said it right out. He's like, DNC, you guys have to bring out your real candidate now, right? Like, that could be Gavin Newsom, that could be Michelle Obama. You can bring out whoever bring out whoever it is, but let's stop pretending that your real candidate is just President Joseph Biden. And because he's saying flat out, I'm telling you now, President Joseph Biden isn't going to be the candidate in even 6 months, right? That's fascinating. That is, and also he's saying, hey, watch everybody, right? They're going to do a sleight of hand. Right? And they have to, because by all the poll numbers, right? It's President Biden gets destroyed by Trump, and what's worse is, and everybody was shocked to find this out, Kamala Harris has even worse numbers than President Joseph Biden, if that's even possible, because she's not super old and incapable, right? Like, but still, people just fundamentally dislike her. So really, really fascinating. I definitely think, I think by his performance in the third U.S. presidential Republican debate was absolutely mammoth. I think he absolutely crushed it, and just really came out with, just things that are absolutely, with statements that are terrifying the establishment, right? And I think he's really getting traction right now. Every single word of that is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.